Well, it's been 2 years since I last done one of these Ask Me Anything, so go and put the kettle on, put your feet up, and let's have a little bit of a Q&A. Well, hello again and welcome back to my channel, and before we get cracking on this, a huge thank you to all of you with your goodwill messages following my recent knee surgery. Rehabilitation is well underway. I am still on very much light duties, no making or anything in the workshop yet, so in the next few videos you might see me sat on this rather creaky stool at the moment. So I thought I'd do an Ask Me Anything, which I said 2 years since I last done one. And a lot's happened in 2 years. So the workshop looked a little bit like this. And I think I looked at quite a bit younger at that point as well, aged horribly the last couple of years. So I put out a thing on Instagram and Facebook and also on the community tab thing on the YouTube channel and invited people to throw some questions in. Now, if you don't have any of the other social media, don't worry. And if you want to get a question to me, please put one in the comment section because I've got that many to go through. I'm going to have to do this over 2 parts. So I'm going to deal with some today and also any that you might throw out there. And I'll do a part 2 coming up in a couple of weeks as well. And without further ado, let's make a start. So the first one is from Rob. If money was not a problem, what project would you love to do? And out of everything you've done so far, what are you most proud of? Most proud of, Rob, it's got to be the workshop, hasn't it? You know, I said in the vlog video recently, I still have that pinch myself moment when I come in here. Anyone who's undertook a garden room, a workshop, you know, a shed, it's a massive project. It's a massive undertaking. For myself, it was a gargantuan undertaking. You know, I did question myself on multiple occasions whether I was capable of doing it, but you know, I designed it in a way that I thought I could, and to see that design process through and get it finished, and you know, well into a year, it's probably near 18 months I've been in here now. Yeah, I'm really proud of this achievement, Rob. Money was no object type project. To be honest, I always would like the idea of taking on like a farmhouse style kitchen. I'd love to do something like that in the future at some point, because I like kind of kitchen designs. I don't go for all the, you know, the black gloss and all that kind of stuff. It's just not really me. I'd like to design a kitchen that I know would outlive me, you know, so it'd still look smart in, you know, many years time, hopefully in the future. So yeah, if it was a money no object thing, you know, I'd like to do something like that, Rob. So question 2, which is from Kev: which tool, hand or power tool, brings you the most joy to use? And the same, the least joy. Good question, Kev. Most joy, it's got to be my Axminster Trade planer thicknesser. I love using that machine. When you take a piece of, you know, what looks like rubbish, you know, wood, and then after a few passes and stuff, and what you see what's underneath when you bring it to life, the spiral cutter block on it is just phenomenal. I love using that machine. It certainly gives me the most joy out of, you know, I'm really fortunate what I've got in here, but out of everything I've got, it's got to be that one. Least joy is probably what I'm going to say, what I decommissioned last year, and that would be the table saw. It's, you know, served me really well. There's nothing wrong with it. You know, I like the design. You know, I've used it on multiple projects. It's one of my most successful videos for, like, you know, tuning the thing up and stuff. But when I found other ways which are probably safer for me to use, like the track saw, the MFT, the rail hinge and stuff, that, and you know, my thoughts about a bandsaw and stuff moving forward, I think that's just probably better for me. And then when I started thinking like that, when I started to reach for the table saw, I was thinking, no, I don't really want to use this anymore. So I hope that answers your question, Kev. It's not that I disliked using it, it's just that my mindset has changed in how I use the workshop and how I utilise it. And yeah, my mind changed a little bit in that. So I hope that answers your question, Kev. Question 3 from Alex: where do you find your motivation to keep your workshop clean and tidy? tidy. Uh, um, uh, Alex, I'm laughing, and probably a lot of YouTube folk who put content out there are probably laughing at that question as well, because a camera angle can hide a multitude of sins, shall we say. If I look around here now, yeah, it's a mess in here at the moment. One thing I do, if I get serious for 1 minute, one thing I do try to do is after a build, after a project, I do try to have a clean down and try and return it as best I can to get things back where they should be. Because if you take on another one, and it happened to me kind of in the autumn last year. I had 3 projects on the go, 3 builds on the go in here, and my head was all over the place. I didn't like it. I couldn't find things. I was getting frustrated. I was getting a bit angry at myself, to be honest. So to get around that, if you're doing one project at a time, one build at a time, try and make sure you get your workshop back to the way it was before you started. So, but it does need a proper tidy in here, Alex. It's an absolute mess. You know, this is about the tidiest shot I could get in the whole of the workshop. And I'm sure I wouldn't be the only content creator saying that. Right, question 4 from my friend Dirk, Sumo's Projects. How do you see technology like CNC machines, 3D printing and laser burning being integrated into the workshop in 2023? Really timely question, this, Dirk, because I posted something on Instagram and Facebook this week, and it literally said, what should I do? The reality of it is I've been offered a laser engraver, a really nice one, brand new model, top spec, all that kind of thing. And I didn't know what to do. I have turned down, and other content creators will say this, I have multiple offers. Been really fortunate in that respect. I've had many offers for, you can't call it free stuff. Companies offering to send you equipment, shall we say, because it's not free, because it's in exchange for content, obviously a video, 2 videos, maybe 3 videos, and those things take time, and time is money, isn't it? So, the time to put, to plan something, to film it, to edit it, all that business. So, and the other thing is the issue of, I know some YouTubers, some content creators are seen as a bit of a sellout if they then take on some of this stuff. And, I don't want to be seen as one of them. That's the true reality of it. I understand the argument when people say that. I don't agree with it, but I understand it. And I got tons of feedback on this from a lot of content creators, a lot of YouTubers and stuff. And I think along the lines of, if it's something that interests you, something that you think could benefit your workshop, your business, and you're happy to do that, then why not? And the laser printer thing, the laser engraver thing, yeah, I'm going to take it on. It's probably arriving late January, early February, because I am trying to grow a small independent business here, and I am losing out on business by not being able to personalize some things. So in terms of a laser engraver, CNC machine, they're on my wish list, to be honest, really. And I'm lucky that, a laser engraver is going to arrive. Yes, I will be doing some content on it, but I definitely could see it as a long-term solution to growing my small business. So I think someone really, I can't remember who it was, made a really good point about it, saying if you agree to take on equipment, machinery, tools in exchange for reviews and stuff, you're not sponsored, and you see that content creator using them in 15, 20, 25 videos further down the line, then that can't be selling out, can it? Because obviously they wanted that product, they wanted to use that product, and they are making use of that product. All right, if you only see them use it once or twice, and then you never see it again, or you see it gathering dust on the back shelf, then yeah, I don't know. So yes, I have had tons of offers on things. I only select things that I think, A, will make my work life in here easier and more efficient, B, is of interest to me, and C, I think would be of interest to people watching. So personally, I don't have any issues with CNCs and laser engravers. I know some people do and don't see it as woodworking, doesn't really bother me, that, to be honest. What do I see it as is someone like myself who's trying to grow his own little independent business here in Formby in Liverpool, and wants to make the best of it, and wants to make the best of his online content creating and his YouTube channel. So that's how I see it, Dirk. People might agree with me, people might disagree with me, but, you know, if we all had the same opinion, then the world would be a boring place, wouldn't it? All right, pal. Right, let's go on to the next one. Question 5 from another Rob. This is Rob in St. Helens, I think. Would you do a collaboration with another YouTuber, either a project or a discussion? Yeah, absolutely. I would be interested in the comments to know who would you think, or who would people think it would be a good project or a good collaboration for me to do something with, either that being a discussion based or a project or something. And it doesn't have to be in, you know, it could be done virtually between 2 workshops or in 1 workshop. But yeah, I'd definitely be up for that, and I'd be interested to know what folk think about that one as well, and who would they like to see me work with, because, you know, I could maybe reach out to that person and see if they wanted to have a little bit of a collaboration. So good question, Rob. I have swerved part of it, but in essence, yeah, I would like to do one of them. Question 6, from another business informed me, from the other guys who do the amazing milkshakes and all things nice. What's your favourite material to work with? So from a woodworking perspective, folks, I would say my favourite wood to work with is probably walnut. I just love the finish you can get on it, you know, even the smell. It's really nice to work with. I like working with oak as well, but that can be a little bit kind of a bit of an irritant with me, unfortunately, sometimes. But yeah, I'd say I'd definitely go for walnut as my favourite wood to work with in the workshop. Okay, question 7 from Stu, Bish Bash Bosh. Obviously seen the picture that I posted, which I'll just show now, from the Ask Me Anything, and had a look behind me and said, what's the hi-fi setup? All right, well spotted, Stu. Vinyl is still the best way to listen to music. It's crazy, isn't it, with all this technology we have, but vinyl, it's still unbeaten, in my opinion. And yes, the turntable is a Technics 1200 Mark II. I've had it for about 25 years, Stu. I used to do a lot of DJing in the 90s into the noughties, believe it or not. And that was one of 2. One of the only real regrets I have is selling the other one. But I've still got that one there. And the amp is a Denon amp, and the speakers small Dali speakers. It's only a little small setup, Stu, but it's the turntable, still the best. All right, okay, and it's great sound. Right then, from Will, one of my subscribers and followers, should I scrap my 60-year-old Mortiser and buy a Domino? No. No, I don't think you should, Will, to be honest. I would definitely keep the Mortiser, and I would buy Peter Millard's loose tenon jig, because the Mortiser is something you know and have worked with for obviously a period of time, and I certainly wouldn't scrap that. If it's working well still, keep going with it. And also, if you've got yourself a little 1/4-inch router, then it's probably, you know, I would maybe just invest in one of the loose tenon jigs there, and they're about, you know, a Domino now. God, I haven't looked, you know, like, but I know the prices keep creeping up. And yeah, I'd go with that, Will, and see if Dominoes were suited to your needs. Yeah, don't scrap the Mortiser, and that's my piece of advice on that one. Hello, right, I've popped the camera around for 2 reasons. Firstly, so Alex can see how much of a mess it is in here, but secondly, I would normally be popping an advert in this part, but I thought I'd give you a little bit of a follow-up from my vlog video, the last video, in regards to the paid platform and how I'm going to move forward with that, taking on board all the feedback and comments that you gave me. It's going to go in twofold, so if you like what goes on in here and you'd like to support the channel by making a one-off donation, then I have a link to the Buy Me a Coffee thing in the description box below. So if you want to make a one-off donation, then please feel free to do so. Secondly, what I'm actually doing is I'm currently developing my own website, and within that it will have a members section, which will be a 1-tier paid subscription. So that should be coming along in the coming weeks. I've decided to avoid the things like Patreon and YouTube membership for a variety of reasons, so I thought I'd go with it my own way. So I'll have more information on that in future videos coming up. But if you like the idea of the Buy Me a Coffee thing and you want to support me and you want to support the channel, then as I say, the link is in the description box. Right, back to the questions. And we're back in the room. Okay, the next question is from Matt. It's referencing that Instagram picture again. Those Predators on the shelf are class. Who do you support in football? Yeah, agree with you on the football boots, mate. They were my favourite. I played for the best part of 30 years, and out of all the boots I wore, those Predators around the 98 ones were by far my favourite boots. And I'm a Liverpool fan, mate. Yeah, I have been all my life. I've followed them for the best part of 40 odd years. Through all the highs and the lows. Loved my football, loved playing, love, you know, watching it and following it now. And yeah, Liverpool fan. So hope that answered your question all right. Unless you're a United fan or an Everton fan, maybe. Other than the bandsaw, this is from Paul, sorry. Other than the bandsaw, if money was no object, what would you add to the workshop? Just to reference the bandsaw thing, if you haven't seen previous videos, and I talked about the table saw before, I am hopefully looking later on in the year to a more premium, bigger bandsaw to replace the table saw, really. So that's how I see myself moving forward. But if money was no object, apart from that, what I would like to add to the workshop, probably referencing what I said before, Paul, I'd love to see a CNC machine in here, mate, a good quality CNC machine. Yeah, it's largely because it's maybe not so much from a content creating YouTube perspective, but as a small business enterprise, you know, small, you know, growing business, if you like, I'd love to have a CNC machine in here because I could just see the potential. And over the last 6 months, I've had to turn down a few commissions because people are wanting bespoke things, you know, like resin inlays with logos and stuff, and I don't have the capacity, unfortunately, to do that. I did do the cheese boards a couple of years ago, but that was a friend of mine's CNC machine, so I want to be self-sufficient in those kind of things. So yeah, I'd love to see a CNC machine in here, Paul. If it wasn't that, I'd say there's Festool do this vacuum stand thing that you put a piece of you know, like say you put a chopping board or a tabletop on it and you can adjust it to any angle. Now I have these really neat little vacuum setups from Rutland's, but if it was a money no object thing, that Festool one really does look the business. So choice between the two, I'd probably say the CNC machine, to be honest. I think the vacuum one would be too much of a luxury. Okay, mate, hope that answers your question for you. So now I do have a load more, but this is one that I probably will finish with. Now, unfortunately, I don't have the person's name because I typed this out, lost where I got it from. So, unfortunately, I can't reference your name on this, but it's quite touching on this one. He said, if you hadn't have had your accident, would you still have taken up woodworking and uploading onto YouTube? So, if I hadn't had the car crash, which in May is coming up 5 years now, and subsequent fallout from that, obviously, would have still have taken up woodworking and uploading onto YouTube? And probably the reality of that is no. No, I don't think I would have done, because to any of the teachers out there, and, you know, if you're a parent, you know, you obviously have access, you know, working with people in schools. Teachers are very, very busy folk. You know, they really are. Not just during the day, you know, in their own time as well. And my kind of, you know, I was really caught up in my job, and it took up a lot of my time. And my kind of release away from that was I played a lot of golf, and I used to go fly fishing. So when all the accident stuff happened, you know, my releases got taken away from me, because that's gone now as well. And my capacity to carry out my job in the way I'd like to has also been taken away from me. So if life would just have carried on and there'd been no car crash and there'd been no follow-up disability, if you like, then my life probably just would have carried on that way. And I think really it's an important point to make here, that, and I suppose it comes around to things around comes to things around acceptance, really. Now, acceptance of what happened to me is going to be a lifetime's worth of thought and study, or whatever you want to call it. But I don't think I'll ever accept fully what happened to me and the result of what happened there. But what I've learned over the last kind of 3 years is, you know, disability and stuff, or life-changing event, it doesn't mean the end of what's going on for you. It means a change in direction, you know, if that makes sense. I don't know if it does, and it's something I'll probably go into more detail to in the future, because I never would have seen, you know, my handyman DIY skills in the house were awful. Pretty, you know, shocking. And I wouldn't have had time to take up a new, you know, hobby, topic, you know, whatever you want to craft, whatever you want to call it. And you know, I wouldn't have got round to doing things like this now. It just simply wouldn't have happened. And my life would have probably carried on in the direction it was going. So I've had a massive, you know, 90-degree turn, if we like. So it was a complete life-changing event. It's changed me as a person, has changed, you know, the way I live, and changed everything about my life. And for all the horror story bits, not all of it's been bad. You know, doing this is incredible. You know, I love doing this, and I love the whole process of things. You know, I love the YouTube side of stuff. I love just being in here, in my own space, with my mind just fixed on one thing. You know, that's probably the best thing that this does for me. You know, to just calm my mind down, quiet my mind down a little. And yeah, so I hope that answered your question. Apologies, I can't, you know, whoever it was. It is a little bit of a close to the heart one, that, and you know, I don't mind answering it as best I can on YouTube. I might go into a little bit more detail in when I've talked about, you know, in terms of platforms and stuff in the future. But I hope that's give you a taste of where you think I'm at in regards to answering that question. And you know what, folks, I'm going to leave it with that one, because I will return with a part 2. I have got a chunk more questions here, but also, as I said at the beginning, if there are any you would like to ask me, then please leave it in the comment section below, and I will get round to that with the other ones that I've got here in part 2. Okay, as ever, everyone, you know, take care, look after yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.